You want to hear one of the coolest aspects of barefoot shoes? Almost all of them can be used for exercise. Zero drop, wide toe boxes, minimal stack heights, and maximum flexibility have always been a good combination for active footwear. But what happens when you create a barefoot shoe for the purpose of exercise, specifically heavy weightlifting? You end up with the Barefoot Ursus. Flat, flexible, grippy, and wide, the Ursus was made to smash your lifting PRs. But can it do more than get you results on the platform? Or is that all it's good for? Hey there folks, I'm glad you're here. My name is Chris, and this is the Sons of Sever YouTube channel where there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. Today we're talking about a shoe that is very different compared to the other barefoot shoes that we have reviewed. It is made to be a dedicated weightlifting shoe specifically for movements like deadlifting and squatting. What makes this a good lifting shoe and what makes other lifting shoes good at what they do, more traditional lifting shoes, is the lack of any kind of a squishy midsole material. I want to get a little exercise science nerdy to explain why this is important. I'm going to roll in some B-roll of me doing some heavy deadlifts and squats in some Nike trainers before I got into the barefoot shoe movement. So obviously these are going to have plenty of EVA midsole, and you should be able to see it squishing and rebounding as I'm doing these lifts. This actually is not an advantage when it comes to heavy weightlifting, the same way it's an advantage when you're running. When you're running, you want that material to compress and then rebound and return and give you a little boost off of the ground. When you're lifting weights though, that midsole causes what's called an energy lake. When you're lifting, all of the energy needs to be going down or up in order to move the weight upwards. With an EVA midsole, when it squishes, some of that energy leaks outwards. So because we have that rubber outsole and not a whole lot else, and the outsole is not crazy squishy or anything like that, we are going to leak very, very little energy through our lifts. Now talking about the construction of the shoe, starting with that outsole, we have a 7mm overall stack height. I'm assuming that this outsole is like 4 or 5-ish millimeters. We have a suede insole. It is US sourced suede, as well as the suede on the outside of the shoe that most of the shoe is made of. That insole is probably like 2mm, and then there's some kind of covering below that on top of the rubber. I'm assuming that's like 1mm. It's a very nice minimal stack height. We are zero drop. We have a nice wide toe box. We have a fabric lining in here. This thing is made in Mexico, and we have a cement construction. So the outsole is not sewed on, it is cemented on. I asked Barefoot why they did that, and they said it's because after enough use, the shoe should hold up for a long time, but the outsole will delaminate. And they wanted to make it so that you could cement it back on. You can either buy those materials from Barefoot, or you can go out and source them yourselves, but it makes this shoe a little bit more self-serviceable, which in my opinion is kind of cool. With all the technical stuff out of the way and the purpose of the shoe, I'm gonna pass things over to Eric to talk about what he likes about the Barefoot Ursus.
So when it comes to my likes of the Barefoot Ursa, the first thing that I'll say is that these are crazy comfortable. They feel like putting on a slipper. The materials that they use on the inside are nice and silky, and I really like how they feel on your foot. The padding along the heel cup is just enough. It's not too much, it's not too little. And then the squish that the insole gives you as well, I think is just right. So this thing is really nice to slip your feet into. It also has really great barefoot qualities or minimalist qualities for a shoe. The toe box is super wide. We would definitely suggest these for people that have very wide feet. And it's wide throughout the entire shoe, so it's very comfortable that way. I love how flexible that they are. They let your feet function the way that they're supposed to. When you can do this with your shoe, that's a pretty great thing. I like that a lot. I like how they look. So this is a great replacement for your canvas sneaker, especially this black canvas version. I also was able to pick up these suedes, and I like the way that this one looks too, but this black canvas one just kind of gives you that more laid back classic canvas sneaker look to it. So I appreciate that about them. I also really like that they have been made with repairability in mind, and that's something that carries over with all of Barefoot's shoes. We reviewed the Barefoot Bruin, their boot, and that that is a pretty cool boot in that it can be resoled. And this can also be fixed if it should start to delaminate. So I think that gives them a little bit more credibility as to the investment that you might be putting in for the price of the shoe. The fact that they've made it to be repaired is pretty great.
Kicking off my likes of the Ursus, there's a lot of things that I like about this shoe. My first one is going to go kind of hand in hand with one of Eric's, which is the comfort factor, the on-foot feel. As far as the way it feels on foot, this thing is extremely comfortable. That makes it really easy to wear when lifting weights, which is, again, what this is optimized for, and I think it does such a good job. We have a whole bunch of sporty shoes that we're going to be reviewing this spring and summer, and it's been hard for me to get into those for heavy lifts because I feel like I do lift way better, way more optimally in this specific shoe. I love it for heavy deadlifts, I love it for heavy squats, and I honestly love it for other accessory movements as well, which gets me kind of into my third point, the grip on the bottom here. I love it. I think it works so well. It's a really simple construction and design. It's just waves. The lugs are probably a millimeter, maybe half a millimeter, somewhere in there. But because of the way the shoe flexes and bends as you're doing certain movements, the best one for me to show this example is doing reverse lunges. When I put my foot down, I want to make sure it doesn't slide like at all, because that could lead to catastrophe when you're doing a movement like that. And these grip the floor so nicely with a movement like that. So I love it for all movements where my feet need to be anchored to the floor, which is going to be most of them. That grip performs great in the lifting situations. It also performs great when you're just out walking around, or if you happen to be riding a longboard in these things. And my last point, which is going to echo another one of Eric's, is just that they look good. I really like the way that these ones look, specifically with the higher ankles. I'm a high top fan. You guys probably know that by now, but I really like the way that they look. I think they work as a casual shoe, and they look just as good doing that as they do with heavy lifts. Now with our likes out of the way, I'm going to pass things back over to Eric for our dislikes, but first we want to mention some affiliates.
All right, so the first affiliate that we'll talk about today is Barefoot Shoes. So if at any point in this video you decide that this is a brand that you want to go check out more, look down in the description for the link that goes to their website. But we really like Barefoot Shoes because they build all of their products with repairability in mind, and that's very unique in the barefoot shoe space. We like that they've built these things to be fixed. And that goes for the Ursus that we're reviewing today, as well as the Barefoot Bruin, a boot that we reviewed earlier. So if any of this piques your interest, again, use that link to get to their website.
Are you looking to take your barefoot shoe experience to another level? Then you're going to need a solid pair of toe socks that lets you take advantage of all that toe box. We love Creeper's Toe Socks, a sock that beat out 6 other toe sock brands in a comparison video we did that you can see through the card up in the corner. Whether it's cold or hot, whether you're hiking, running, or lounging, Creeper's Toe Socks will ensure that your feet stay comfy, dry, and healthy. If you're interested in checking out Creepers, head down to the link in the description and use our discount code to save yourself 15% off at checkout.
All right, when it comes to my dislikes of the Barefoot Ursa, the first thing that I'll say here is that I wish that the outsole wrapped up onto the upper the same way that it does on like the splay shoes or the Feelgrounds, because I think that just gives it a little bit more protection and a little bit more versatility. One thing that I think about this shoe is that it's not very versatile. Yeah, you can wear it casually, and yes, it shines in the gym, but I wouldn't want to take this out on a light hike. I wouldn't want to take it to a playground with the kids. I wouldn't want to use it biking or longboarding. I feel like because there's no rubber on this part of the shoe right here, that canvas would just get destroyed if I have it outside and I'm playing too hard in it. So I do think that the outsole on this could be updated to fix that, and it would make it a more versatile shoe, and then I really wouldn't have any gripes about it.
Getting into my dislikes of this shoe. So the first one is they're discontinuing this color, the ice gray, which I love. So if you think this is a good looking colorway for this shoe, head down to the link in the description, go over to their website and see if they have it in stock in your size. If they do, snag one, because it's gonna be your last chance probably. So that kind of sucks. Now with the lame kind of superficial dislikes out of the way, let's get into the real one, the construction one. This seam on the outside is just in the absolute wrongest spot for my pinky toe. My pinky toe ends at this seam, and on the outside it's relatively flat, but on the inside there is a bump there. Now, this isn't causing me any pain. My pinky toe is not snagging on it or anything like that, but I can feel it and I don't like it. So in the future, I would love it if they could find a way to delete that seam, at least on the inside of the shoe, or just flatten it out as much as possible. One thing I will say, that seam has broken in on the inside. My toe has rubbed past it enough times that it started to flatten out. Maybe they anticipate that, maybe not. Maybe most people's pinky toes either go way up past it or way down below it, because on this side, we still have that seam and you can feel it just the same on the inside. But because my big toe ends up here, I don't even notice it at all. I think I only notice this one because that is where my pinky toe ends, and I really don't like it. Final opinion of the shoe. I love it. I especially love it for lifting weights. I would highly recommend it if you're looking for a weightlifting specific shoe, but here's my caveat. If you are looking for a casual barefoot shoe that also does good in weightlifting, don't get this shoe. This is all about your priorities. This is all about PEMDAS, order of operations. If you are looking for a lifting shoe that also looks good casually, this is it. If you're looking for a casual shoe that can lift, there are other options that we've already reviewed on this channel and that we're going to be reviewing on this channel that I think would do better for you. With my dislikes and my final opinion out of the way, I'm going to pass things over to Eric for his final opinion and the outro of the video.
Alright, so when it comes down to it, would we recommend this shoe for other people? And I think in certain cases, yes. If you're looking for a casual canvas barefoot sneaker, then these are pretty great. They're going to give you a very, very minimalist feel to them. You're going to feel everything under your feet. We especially think that they're good for people who want a workout shoe or a gym shoe, something that you can do deadlifts and squats in. This is going to keep you very grounded and planted to the floor and help you in those situations. For people who have very wide feet, we think that they'll work too, but I think that if you're looking for something that you want to use outside actively, that this one's gonna fall a little bit short for you there. Thank you so much for the view. We really appreciate it. If you liked this video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out, and we have a ton more of these kinds of videos coming out. This is our second one for our summer shoes of 2024, and we have a bunch more that we still need to review, so we're super excited about that. Please follow along and don't miss out on those videos. There's a bunch of different places you can follow us online. We have a Patreon account. We would love if you come and subscribe to us there. It's only $1 a month for that subscription, and you get a bunch of extra content from us behind the scenes. You get up-to-date looks at the gear that we are working with. You can also follow us on Instagram. We post a lot of our unboxing videos there. So if you go follow us there, then you'll get to see the stuff that we're getting in the mail. And come and follow us on Strava. That's a really cool app that we're very active on. We're always posting our activities, whether that's hiking or running. Soon it's going to be biking, paddleboarding. You can go post your activities. If you come and follow us, we'll follow you back and continue to build that community on Strava. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you in the mountains.